Hey, what's up, everybody? Israel O'Brien here from Metal Swap Talk. Real treat for you guys today. We have Sami Hinkka from the mighty Ensiferum joining us today, talking about a few items, but mostly about the new album. It's going to be out October 18th on Metal Blade Records, Winter Storm. Sammy, thank you so much for hanging with us, man.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So, Winter Storm, after the worldwide success that Thalassic had, a few years ago, back in 2020, right after everything pretty much fell apart, um,
Yeah.
uh, you guys come back with another pretty epic album, this time with a different storyline. Can you tell us a bit about the theme behind Winter Storm?
Yeah. This is a good example of never say never, because Thalassic was something that, during all these years, I always said it's impossible for Ensiferum to make like a theme album or anything because the way we composed. And at some point, I was like, fuck that. I'm like, why do I put like limits to myself? And then Thalassic, where it was, every song was vaguely connected to nautical stuff. So I was like, yes. I said like, fuck you to my Sami in the past, like, but to really like make a concept album, that was always that I thought like, no, we're never gonna go there. And look and behold, uh, yeah. Well, like you said, Thalasi came out when COVID chaos was really there, and it was a big bummer, so to say. Put it nicely, because yeah, it was very well accepted by fans, and I think that hit the highest the chart positions we ever
Yeah.
reached. I mean, in metal, that's probably not that important that it is in pop, but of course it felt good. I think we're number three in Germany, or
Yep.
two. I don't probably three. But
Top
anyway,
10 in the
that's like
US.
yeah, exactly. So it was really like fuck yes, and then everything closed. You can see your calendar just getting empty and empty all the time. Like no, 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 we need tours. We just made a good album. Fans are asking, are you coming here? Are you coming here? But no, the calendar is getting empty, and it's like, oh fuck's sake. Uh, yeah. So this album was really composed during very different time than Thalassic. Uh, yeah, with Thalassic you can hear almost joy in the songs because uh, it was a very different period. Well, the way I see it, every album reflects kind of the last few years before the album came out. I mean, in the bands and everybody's individual life. If I look back, like uh, our previous albums, I can really hear, like from afar, it was also a bit a dark album, but there was a bit of dark stuff happening. Um, or Victory Songs album back in the Middle Ages when we released this one. I mean, we were like just a bunch of guys getting drunk in rehearsal room and just partying. And it was like you can really hear these young men, macho testosterone shit, and just getting drunk and having fun with your friends. You can really hear that mood there if you listen to it now. And for Winterstorm, you can really hear it was really written in desperate times. So no drinking, no happy, happy, joy, joy party songs on this album. Uh, but I can reveal, we're not completely depressed here. The next album, we're already working with the new songs, and it's very different already from Winter Storm. I think
Back
this
to
was something
drinking.
that always a bit, always it's always a good idea. But yeah, I think this was just something that we had to get out of the system. But yeah, then it was not easy. Yeah, it took the gap is 4 years. We never had that long gap because like the normal cycle of life is you compose years and get a few wrinkles and a few gray hairs, and then you release an album, and then you get on tour, like to live life and experience stuff and meet new people and get new ideas and some emotions where to draw inspiration for the new music. But this time it was really like we got the album out, and it was like, sorry guys, just go home, start writing a new album. Like, no, about what? Like, there's nothing. So it was really, I can't say there's nothing because we always have like raw ideas that we couldn't finish. There's never anything that we leave out from the album. It's always all the songs that are ready we put on the album. So we were not completely empty-handed, but it was not the most inspirational time to like, hey, let's start composing a new album when the world is going to shit and no idea what's going to happen. And of course, it's easy now as a hindsight or to look like behind now. You just should have like take it easy and relax and blah blah. But of course, the world is not. We're not recovered yet, and all the other new shit going on and the global inflation and blah. Well, you can't go back in time, but yeah, let's not go into politics or let's not talk about money because those topics fucking suck.
Yeah, for sure.
On this album, Sami, it looks like you have some tours coming up in Europe. Is that right?
Yes. Well, even before the album is out, we're gonna have something really cool that we're gonna have pre-listening session. I mean, it's nothing new in the world, but I don't think we've ever done it, and we're gonna do it in a Bodom bar owned by the guys from Children of Bodom, and it's the doors are open. Anyone who wants to come there and we'll listen to the album at some point. The whole band will be there, and it's gonna be very interesting to see the fans' reactions and talk with them about it. Like, how do they feel after the first round? And yeah, that's gonna be really something nice. And the really cool thing also is that people who pre-ordered the album can actually get the album like 3 days before the actual release. So that's also really cool that they managed to pull this through. And yeah, then we're gonna do a few shows in Finland with the Finnish band called Swallow the Sun. Quite an odd couple because they're like it's melodic doom. I really love these guys, and I think Hope album is one of the best in this whole genre. I used to play in a band called Rapture, which was also a bit similar than Swallow the Sun. So I have a thing for this kind of stuff, melancholic, beautiful stuff. But yeah, that's a really cool combo. We both released a new album on the same day, so that's a bit annoying. But we're on different labels, and they didn't talk about this, and boom, here we are. Competing on the same charts. But anyway, but this is gonna be really good to start for the tour. Because in Finland, I think both of us, I mean, we're not big. In Finland, we're not big. But I still think we hit some kind of glass ceiling. Same as Swallow the Sun. I think they kind of reached the amount of people that they can draw. So what they would need is new people to see them live, because many bands, you need to see them live. They're on a completely different level, and that's why how I always see it. How I always seen Ensiferum. It's definitely a live band. I think we always fucking fail in studio, but when we get the adrenaline rolling and you have the crazy fans, mosh pitting and singing along and partying their asses off, then I think the band also elevates to 11 then. So I think that's also really good for us, because I think most of Swallow the Sun fans would probably come to Ensiferum show, but this is a really good chance now to reach new people for the both bands. And yeah, then we're gonna hop on to Pagan Fest tour. This was a big thing like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest tour we've ever made. So that's gonna be fucking fantastic. I was just talking with one of my friends in UK, and he told me, like, do you understand the size of the venue? Like, I seen Iron Maiden on the venue where you're gonna play in London. I was like, whoa! Like, then I really started to check the venues. Like, fuck, these are big ones. So that's awesome. I hope people join. It's gonna be it's gonna be like a long party. Like, I think I need to detox after that tour. Well, actually, no rest for the weekend. I'm sorry, I can't reveal too much, but there are a lot of plans for the next 2 years. There are a lot of tours coming.
That's fantastic.
Also North America.
Yeah, we were just about to ask you about that, man. We're like, hey, after the whole winter, you guys need to catch some sun. You got to come to California.
Yes, please. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, now we're getting the dark period in Finland. Yeah, I think we lose almost 20 minutes every week of the sunlight, and now we're really heading to that direction.
So
I mean, I live in Helsinki, but yeah, sorry. Now I end up babbling about you.
No, that's all right. So for this album, did you all record together, or did you just kind of send parts, back and forth, or was this like actually everybody in studio?
uh, we start always recording with drums, and then the whole band is there, so that there's like a natural groove in the drums, which is uh, yeah. The guys suggested like let's keep also the bass lines. I was like, nah, I can do better because I mean it would have been okay, and that's what we did in the past sometimes. Like the bass line is like clicked to the how do you call it to drums like oh I'm sorry, my vocabulary
No,
limit
it's all
is
right.
just been reached.
It, it,
So,
it,
so the drums and bass are like they match.
yeah, it goes with the drums. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's the
that's where
beat,
you wanna.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the groove is yeah because you can't play with just the. I mean, you can of course you can record just with a click. You usually end up sounding shit. It depends on the genre. Depends on the genre. I have to say because of course some genres are more technical and everything needs to be in a grid, so to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, the whole band was there when we recorded drums, and then we had a studio here in Helsinki booked for I don't know how many weeks. Yeah, the guys were recording guitars. I had to take a day job when COVID hit, so I went there every evening to check what's going on. Uh, and yeah, also to save a bit of time, I recorded the bass at home, and that's something that was really weird, but also in this situation, it was the best option because
Yeah.
then I could do like if I come from work to home, I could do just one song, no stress that okay, fuck, we need to record like 3 songs today, otherwise the schedule is fucked. And I guess one reason for this is that the guy who recorded and produced the album, Janne Joutseniemi, he's been working with us. Well, he was on Thalassic Theme and he was on helping us a few other albums, but he was there for Victory Songs album.
Oh
So
wow.
already eons ago.
Old school.
So I guess he now trusts that I can actually play bass. So he trusted I could record it at home, and of course I sent everything to him, and we checked everything's okay. And then there was like, even though we did some pre-production, but there were like maybe 1 or 2 songs where he asked like, "Hey, could you record this part again? Could you do like octave higher or octave lower? Because then it needs to also match with the guitars. If I suddenly the bass is really low and the guitars are here, then there's like too long gaps. So a few of these things like production arrangement or whatever. But it went very well. But yeah, and then we were in the studio recording vocals. So everybody was there doing the choirs. It was first time in a long time. I think we didn't have any singers outside the band doing
Hmm.
the choirs. It's always good to have multiple voices when you record vocals. I mean, I can do 100 tracks of choir, but it's not gonna sound big. I mean, then you ask 20 friends and you do 2 takes, and it already sounds bigger just because the voices resonate differently, and
Yeah.
yeah, physics.
And I mean, what you guys are kind of like one of the only bands that I notice that where everybody pretty much sings, other than I think the Yanni, I don't think he sings, but the rest of you guys all sing, right?
Yeah, yeah. We've been. I think Janne did some shouts, at least on Thalassic he did,
Huh.
and stuff like this. Maybe also some choir parts because yeah, it would be so hilarious to release all the choir tracks because of course there are like multiple takes where we try to sing in tune and do the harmonies, but there are also like alter ego uh, just to make more mass for the choirs. Like it might
Right.
really be something that alone that would sound like just ridiculous, but sometimes you need to do weird stuff for art.
Yeah.
Sammy, the band has like has a lot of variety in your music. It's like really hard to like you don't follow like any certain path. It doesn't seem like. Where do you kind of draw your inspiration for I don't know just the variety of the music?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think we're just so stubborn that we just it's so fucking cliche, but it's true with this band. We just make songs that we like, And no matter how commercial suicide it might be, uh, I had people telling me many, many times, like, you guys would be so much more successful if you would just give people what they want, like make more party songs. And it's like, it gets boring. I mean, I love wine and cheese, but I'm not gonna have that every night.
Yeah.
I mean, and same with music. The whole band, we have we all like other stuff than metal, and I think it comes from there. There's a lot of this inspiration coming from weird directions also, and then we have this policy in the band that no matter how crazy some idea might be, everything needs to be tried. I mean, you can literally bring the heaviest death metal riff to the rehearsal room, and if someone says, "We need to try this in some ethnic way or some reggae style," and it's like, that's so stupid, but that's the holy policy that everything needs to be tried at once. And sometimes the crazy ideas are the best, and it's you get like epiphany, like, fuck, my original idea was good, but this is like much better. Uh, it's a slow method, but it's also very rewarding. And this way, also the whole band can stand behind every song. So it's not like someone just brings like, okay, these songs are gonna go like this, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. I need to emphasize because I don't want to sound like judgmental because there are bands where that works. Like one person brings all the songs and that works. But for us, that's our pro and con, so to say. Because if you just play one song from Ensiferum album to a person, the next song might be completely different. Like on the new album, there's this a ballad with the female vocals. If someone would hear that, oh, this is Ensiferum, and then they put like Acts of Judgment from One Man Army album, it's like completely different, like total opposite. Like you double the tempo and like harsh vocals and down tune shit, and it's. But that's the way we like to make music. I mean, you need to be able to look back and be proud of every song that you made. I mean, of course, I can look back and I can laugh to some of our songs, like, for fuck's sake, what were we thinking about? But it felt like a good idea. I can't
Sounded
say
like
we
a
were
good
young.
idea at the time.
Yeah, I can't say we were young and we needed the money because absolutely we would have been doing this. That would have been the case.
And I think at the same time, it keeps the album interesting when it's not all sounding the same from start to finish, which keeps it definitely interesting for the listener as well. And I think a lot of people do appreciate that. And I mean, after close to 30 years as a band, you could see that it works with fans that they do expect that from Ensiferum to not just follow the same line all the time.
No, yeah, exactly. That's where we get a lot of feedback from fans, like a lot of like thank you for making something different and like having the element of surprise there. And that's actually on this album. I don't know. Well, what's the element of surprise? Well, the songs are very long and artistic, but yeah, like I said, there's no party songs on this album. So because those are usually the ones where you can really fool around. Um, but yeah, maybe the massive size of this album. I mean, literally, it's an album. It's if you listen to one song, it might not make any sense because yeah, all the songs are tied together because they're like the lyrics are part of this fraction from the book I'm gonna write eventually.
That was exactly my next question. I understand this is part of like a work of fiction that you've been writing for a while, right? So
yeah, I've
part
been
of it
thinking
is
about. Yeah,
part of
sorry,
it is
please
that.
finish.
No, it's
Yeah,
part of that.
yes. Well, I'm a geek. I mean, I grew up with Commodore 64 and all the possible fantasy and sci-fi movies, and I love reading. Well, last years I haven't read enough, and that's something I regret. I mean, there are not many things I regret, but that's really something I regret that I haven't read enough in the last years. But yeah, like I can't pinpoint a day in my calendar, but I would say like I can say like it's like 10 years that I've been thinking about writing an own book, like a fantasy book. I had this. Well, I've written almost all the lyrics, so I kind of enjoy this storytelling mode. And every lyric for me, I always visualize something like a movie or something in my head. So it was very natural to start thinking about writing a book, like a longer story. That has been growing and evolving in my head, but I never thought that. Well, I always thought that I'm gonna start writing it when things are a bit more calmer. Not, I don't mean when I'm retired, because as a musician, I really don't see myself retiring unless something really bad happens and I can't play. I hope that's never going to be the case. But let's say when I thought like when I'm 30, 50 or something, then I probably would have much more calmer life and just do tours. Maybe I could quit my day job again and just play tours and write in the morning, with my cats running and around and enjoy my cup of tea or wine or whatever. But no, it's something that the last years have really proven that you really, well, of course, it's good to plan, but you also need to be ready that your plans for life are going to be completely destroyed and you need to change stuff. And that's what happened to me with the book. I think I really need to step on it and start writing it much more because I don't have that many pages yet because I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't tell anyone about it because it was just something I was cooking in my head. And yeah, I was very desperate. That's something I can tell for this album. The lyrics, I'd never been so desperate about writing lyrics. There've been moments in history when I had to like struggle a bit. Okay, this song is a bit tricky, but the idea was always there, like quite fast. But for this album, I dare to say it took almost 2 years that I just came up with some ideas for the raw demos that we had. But all the ideas were just shit. they just didn't feel right. So right. I discarded them all. And there was a point when guys were really trying to push me, like, hey, we can't really progress with the arrangement and finishing the songs. Well, not even finishing, but just to even continue writing them before we actually have, well, even if not lyrics, but some vocal arrangements. Like what's going to happen here, what melody will be here, because of course that affects the other instruments and the whole song structure. So I was really struggling. And I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think it went to that I started thinking, should I read some of my favorite books again and like make a concept album of that? And then it hit me that, yeah, but how about this story that I'm writing myself? The fantasy world that actually never meant to meet Ensiferum universe, but here we are once again. You never say never. Well, I told the guys about this idea. I guess they were just happy that I finally got some idea. And during all these years, they always trusted me with my weird lyrics, never questioning them too much. And then it was much more easier when I started listening to the songs and thinking like, okay, this song, could it be about this faction or this tribe or this character and of this event? Then it all started to make sense. But yeah, I need to underline like that the book is going to be very long. It's going to reach out through generations. So if this is the whole book, the album is about this much. It tells just about a short period of time. And the battle in Victorious that ends the album, that's definitely not the final battle of the book. So that's teaser.
So it was always there. It's just a matter of putting it to what you guys were already working on. That's awesome. So after close to 30 years as a band, how do you guys manage to adapt to the changing music industry, streaming services, Spotify, all that? How do you guys manage to adapt to all that, especially after being in the business for so long?
Badly. Lousy. I mean, we are the shittiest band if you think like social media. It's like it's terrible. One of my best friends, he's from UK. I think I just joined the band. This was probably like 2005, 2006 or something like this. He wrote me an email that, hey, I noticed that you guys don't have MySpace. And I was like, we don't give a fuck. I mean, we write music and we play gigs. And he was like, I really like your music. Yeah, he was 15, and I can set you up MySpace in 10 minutes. I was like, go for it. Like, thanks. And we stayed in touch. Yeah, he's one of my best friends at the moment, and he's working for Ensiferum social media. He works in Universal, so he really works for like Rammstein releases and stuff like that. And so it's funny that
Cool.
it started from an email. Can I set up your MySpace page? And you end up having a
MySpace.
friend of a lifetime. Yeah, and that kind of the same attitude is still there. I mean, during all these years, there's always been this not pressure because label and the management, they know that we're all farts, like grumpy old men. So there's always been like this request, like, hey, when Twitter started, they were like, hey, this thing is really getting big in States. Like, you guys should do something like this. And we're like, what the fuck we have to say? Like, who gave us a fuck what some wannabe musicians in Finland say? Like, no one. Like, there's this self-criticism is very high in this band, and the self-irony also. But yeah, this topic we really stuck, and I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry for the fans. I know there are millions of bands who are much more interesting,
Hey,
but we're doing our best. We do our best. But generally speaking, I really enjoy the march of technology. I love seeing it go forward. I really love to see human race going forward. Yeah, that's what I said that for decades. I'm gonna be so fucking stubborn. I will not die before man has walked on Mars. That's like something I always wanted to see. Seems like Elon Musk is making it a bit too fast because I really don't want to die. Yes. So I'm always rooting for technology. Of course, there was a moment of when like illegal downloading and albums leaking, and that sucked that period. But with streaming stuff, I'm very happy. It's very convenient. Also, like I have a lot of CDs, but they're all packed in cardboard boxes nicely, and I have some vinyls that I cherish. Those are special ones. But I listen to music from Spotify and YouTube or whatever. Of course, I buy albums. So on this one, I'm not so grumpy old man. The business has changed a lot, but that's normal. It would be weird for something like this not to change, especially when it's tied to technology. It's been like that since the first not LPs, but when they was made in clay or something. I don't know the word. The first
phonographs, I think they were called.
Yeah, something like this. When that happened, then all this was like predicted. This is bound to happen. What we're seeing now, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, because I think human beings have always been throughout these millennia that now we reach some kind of peak moment. Like, where can we go from here? And then comes some fucker and comes up with something better than a wheel.
It's always gonna be something new.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, that's what I love about human race. I mean, we're going forward in a big picture. Of course, there are like moments where we need to stop and maybe take a few steps back or whatever. But in the big picture, we're always going forward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of new album, Winter Storm from Ensiferum, out on Metal Blade Records, October 18th. Go and get it. How
the fuck we ended up about talking to Mars? Fucking fantasy album. I'm really sorry, guys.
Mars mission needs to take some stuff from Earth and maybe an Ensiferum album up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I actually have my fucking solo project, which I try to, because I also like industrial stuff.
Oh, right.
I have one song that has been there for a few years now, but I'm also trying to learn how to mix, and that's not so easy. All the respect to all the. So, and I'm a bit stubborn here. Of course, I could just pay my friends to mix it, but it's something I think it's good to stay curious and try to develop your skills. Yeah. And
what's the name of the project?
It's 3 S's and 3 H, my initial.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I have one song that I've been working for years now, and it really tells about the astronaut in Mars and
Oh, cool.
waiting for the rescue mission.
Right
Highly
on.
inspired by this book. What's the English? Martian? Is that
The
the English
Martian.
title?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Martian.
fantastic book,
Oh,
and quite good movie actually.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And talk about, so I don't know if you guys are into sci-fi, but yeah,
Oh,
Interstellar.
yeah.
I really can't wait for this 10th anniversary thing that they're gonna do now. Movie
Oh, it's a great
theaters.
movie. Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
for
I
sure.
did not see the movie theater. I think we're in fucking tour or studio or something. Anyway, so I'm really happy for this, like 10th anniversary thing. Maybe they're gonna play it in big cinemas. Okay, see, now I'm gonna fucking shut up.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We can't wait till the new album to come out. We've been listening to it. It sounds fucking amazing. And hopefully we'll see you catch some waves down here in San Diego soon.
Sooner than you think.
Awesome, man. For Brian, I'm Israel.
Okay.
That's Sammy. We'll see you
All
guys
right.
next.
All right.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sammy.
Bye. Thank you guys. Take care.